turning on the Wi-Fi like Obama to a white guys. Temper in the center of winter filled with some white lies. But that's politics, gets colder than the wildest thing.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas. Seasons are coming to an end. So we've got some big news coming out of that. Some really weird news coming out of that. And some sad news coming out of that. I guess we should start with the good news. I think the two biggest things, I guess, that were happy, in my opinion, that were good news in my opinion, were the fact that Manchester City is the first team in English history to clinch a 100-point season.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a very long time before we see that again. It was just a remarkable season. It had 2 losses and only 4 draws. I mean, that's insane with a 38-match season. There's only 6 games that they did not win.
Dominant season. Which, I mean, they absolutely deserved, all the wins that they gained. And they took the losses that they did receive, graciously.
From Liverpool.
That is true. They took them, they moved on, and it made them better, which is even scarier to think about.
Sure.
I think next season, City is going to be a team to be reckoned with again. They're going to be very difficult to beat. I think right now the team that has the best chance to do that is Liverpool. Liverpool can kind of clean up some of their injuries, some of their smaller issues. I think that it's going to be a fight between Liverpool and Man City next season,
and get rid of some of their tendencies toward inconsistency. And like you said, Manchester City, had a couple of losses and a couple of draws, and they learned from those, and they came back even stronger. If Liverpool can figure out how to do that more consistently, they take the loss and learn from it. And it just seemed like, even as a Liverpool supporter, I've noticed that there were a couple of times this season that they got a little complacent with who they were playing. And I think if they can kind of shove that, off the table, then yeah, I'll agree with that. And they're not going to be the only ones. I think Tottenham is kind of poised to start doing a little bit better too. They had a really good run at the end there, and ousted Liverpool from third place, to finish up the season. So I think, I'll agree with what you said, but I'll throw Tottenham in that mix too. Manchester United is still a really strong team, but there's so much going on behind the scenes there. With players changing. Is Big Rom going to be fit? Apparently he's going to be in the World Cup. But then you got guys like Paul Pogba, and then Anthony Martial, maybe not be there next season. So I don't know that they're going to be as strong a contender as Tottenham and Liverpool, and hopefully Arsenal and Chelsea get their act back together. That brings me
to my next good piece of news from the end of EPL season. Was Manchester United getting into Champions League for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson left. I believe that. I'm pretty sure this is the first time that they've qualified for Champions League since Fergie left.
Wow.
Which is is huge for them. Manchester United has always been a team that's been known for high level European football. For high level football and being able to to beat the top teams in the world. And recently they haven't been able to do that. Which is a shame. To be able to you look at this season, and face the teams that they came up against with class, and to be able to take second place substantially was a huge move for them. And a huge win for Jose Mourinho as manager. I've said it before. I know Ian said it before. We both don't like him.
I just don't like his tactics.
And as a Chelsea fan, and him being a former Chelsea manager who just decided to ruin the team for no reason, I just don't like him. But he is a fantastic manager when he wants to be, and he was able to guide United in the right direction this season.
Well, and United stayed in second place for a long time. I don't have the exact statistic on how long they were in second place, but once they got into second place, they stayed there. I mean, there were a couple of flip flops between Liverpool and Manchester United. Because United hadn't played that afternoon yet. Liverpool would fight for second for a couple of hours, but United held firmly onto second place. I mean, no one was ever going to catch Manchester City. We kind of decided that right after Christmas that City was going to stay in first place unless something really catastrophic happened. But United stayed really strong in second place. In fact, they're 5 points ahead of Tottenham, who finished in third. Granted, they're 19 points behind first place City, but I mean that's a really strong showing from a team that went through a little bit of turmoil, and we were actually able to tell some jokes about during the season. I mean, with Alexis Sanchez, I mean breaking records for the number of times losing possession, twice. Stuff like that. Paul Pogba, who some people say is one of the more underrated players in the world, and I'm not going to completely disagree with that. But he's very inconsistent under Jose Mourinho, and I don't think he's entirely happy there. And then again, you got guys like, Anthony Martial who are just, unhappy, and just a very tumultuous season for Manchester United. So I mean, it's really. It kind of speaks to the character of the team as a whole to go through all of those things over and over and over throughout the season and still dominantly hold on to second place for as long as they did. Cool, that they're back in Champions League. I didn't realize it had been that long.
They were in Champions League this season but it wasn't because they qualified. It was because they won Europa League. So this is the first time that they've qualified for Champions League.
Gotcha.
In the league.
Okay. All right. That removes some of my surprise at that statistic.
And speaking of those players, there are rumors that those players will be leaving. Jose Mourinho is actually forcing them out, right. Which is kind of a surprise if you think about it, because those are top players that are performing at they're performing at the best level that they can in one of the hardest leagues in the world. It'll be interesting to see where they go this summer if they do move.
Well, and it'd be interesting to see who he brings in to replace those guys. I mean that's going to be the biggest. Where these guys go is going to be exciting for them, but who Jose Mourinho brings in to replace these players is what's going to make or break their season, and whether or not the fans are happy with stuff like that, because United fans are serious fans. I saw pictures. I don't know how real they are. It's just when Manchester United won. With Manchester City, won the title this year. Of course they had the parade, and they've got a couple thousand people out in the streets following the bus, But then they showed pictures of when Manchester United won the title a couple of years ago, and there were hundreds of thousands of people. I don't know if those pictures have been doctored, edited, whatever. But even in the United States, I know that there are more United fans here than there are City fans here. At least in our circle of friends. So I mean, United fans are serious about their football. They're serious about their loyalty, to the Red Devils. So it'd be interesting to see how things work out for them. And this transfer window in general is going to be very exciting for almost everybody. I'm waiting for, because I mean it's just going to start flying, and the money is just going to get thrown around left and right, and to see who's coming where from where, and it's going to be a really exciting transfer window. I mean, even managers are already starting to move from one club to the next. So really exciting
I
to
guess
see.
I kind of lied when I said I only had two pieces of good news coming out of the season. The third piece, and this kind of goes in with another topic I want to talk about. With EPL wrapping up, the top four are confirmed to be entering Champions League next season, and then places 5, 6th, and 7th are confirmed to be in Europa League next season. And the top four are City, United, Tottenham, and Liverpool, which kind of hurts me a little bit to say. I expected it. It was kind of a long shot.
I
But
imagine.
that means Chelsea will still be in Europe next season. They'll be in Europa League with Arsenal and Burnley. Um,
Yeah,
this is
that's
the
exciting.
first time in Burnley's history, Burnley's 51-year history, that they will be playing in European football.
Wow.
Which is huge. And
Yes.
Sean Dyche has come out and said that he is
Well, and
absolutely 100% prepared for this challenge.
I believe he is. I mean, he has really made a fantastic run this season. He's and talk about underrated stuff. I mean, Burnley has done a lot of this stuff kind of under the radar. They're, and I think it's because typically they're not a team that we talk about a lot. Being a strong team. They've only been in the top flight a couple of years now. So a lot of this stuff has just kind of come, like I said, from under the radar. They just kind of showed up, and it's just because they have played very consistently. Sean Dyche has done a really great job preparing and organizing his squad for each and every challenge. I mean, out of the 38 match season, I mean, they've got 14 wins. And 12 losses and 12 draws. But I mean, they fought. I don't want to say tooth and nail. It wasn't like they got really scrappy. They stayed organized. And I think a lot of that is because of Sean Dyche. I mean, he believes in his players, and I think his players have bought into the program, and they believe in him. And even the fans. I mean, because now that one lady we talked about a couple weeks ago is going to change the name of her pub to the Royal Dyche, because he got them into Europa. So that's going to be really exciting to see. And I believe Sean Dyche is prepared. I mean, I don't think this is a fluke. I think this is something that that he and his team and his staff have meticulously worked on. And put together piece by piece, and working with what they had to work with. I mean, they've got some really good players, but they don't have any of these top level players that we're always talking about. Eden Hazard and Willian and Emre Can and Mohamed Salah. Mm-hmm. They don't have these guys, but they're still now they're going to be in top level international football for the next year. Mm-hmm. And that's exciting.
See, their top scorer was Chris Wood with 10 goals this season.
Wow.
To put that into perspective, the Golden Boot winner of the EPL, Mohamed Salah, had 32 goals this season. Which is
wow,
just fantastic.
That number by itself is insane. Just 32 goals for one player is crazy. I'm just glad he plays for Liverpool.
Which I
mean,
is just insanity to think about. And this is just his first season at Liverpool. He was able to come in. He realized this is a team that I can mend with extremely well, and we're going to just destroy things this season because we can.
Yeah. Thanks, Chelsea.
Speaking of Chelsea, although they won't be in Champions League next season, and I'm kind of disappointed in that, especially because it means that there might be a lot of top names leaving the Blues this summer, such as Thibaut Courtois
It's
and
highly likely.
Hazard.
He's already said he's leaving, and Aiden Hazard is waiting to see who they sign in the transfer window before he re-signs his contract. Apparently, he's at a point in his career where he can be picky about who he plays with, which is fine. But that's what I understand, that he's holding off signing a new contract to see who they bring in to the squad this summer. Thibaut Courtois, my understanding, has already announced that he's leaving. I think he's going to Spain.
He did say he wanted to move back to Spain because that's where his wife was, that's where his kids were. And I have respect for that.
Okay.
You want to be with your family.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Over anything else. Speaking of goalkeepers, we got some big news on probably one of the most legendary goalkeepers in the game right now. Gigi Buffon has announced that he will be leaving Juventus after a 17-year run.
17 years.
And the rumors haven't confirmed whether or not he's going to retire. There have been rumors that he has gotten offers from big name teams such as Liverpool, who have been looking for a goalkeeper for a while. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the next few days. Where he goes, whether he decides to retire or not. Unfortunately, we don't have anything else on that. It is, still fresh news coming out, and we'll have to keep watching that as it develops.
And as far as him, going to Liverpool, I don't know if that's a great idea. As a Liverpool fan, I mean. I got to tell you, how happy I am that Simon Mignolet is no longer in the net for Liverpool. I can't tell you how wonderful that is. He was just too inconsistent for me. And Loris Karius, when they put him in goal, obviously to replace Mignolet, I was really wary about that. I was like, man, this guy doesn't have a whole lot of experience. As the season went on, you could tell. I mean, his game changed. He was more confident. He was more assertive. Still bungled things here and there, but I think that's everybody's going to do that. I mean, even guys like Thibaut Courtois, who are world class, and Petr Cech, is a little long in the teeth, but still a fantastic goalkeeper. So Loris Karius, I think, kind of grew into the role, and I've actually been relatively satisfied with his performance. As a fan and just as a self-acclaimed critic of the game, I think he's done pretty well. Gigi Buffon, fantastic goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the best ever. He's definitely one of the greatest of all time. I don't know that bringing him in now is going to be, the stopgap we're looking for. I mean, how long is he going to be able to play? How long is it going to be before we're saying, okay, kind of like, the Petr Cech situation, this guy's legendary, but does he still have what it takes at his age? And I hate to say that about, guys like Petr Cech and Gigi Buffon, because they are, some of the greatest goalkeepers, but you still have to be realistic. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't think it'd be the coolest thing in the world to go get a Liverpool jersey with Buffon's name on it. But as a fan and a supporter of Liverpool, does it make sense? I don't know. There's younger goalkeepers out there who, if you get them in the right place and get them the right training and the right experience, are going to be, around for a long time. So I don't know how I feel about him coming to Liverpool. Still be kind of neat.
I feel the same about that. I feel,
doesn't make sense.
I don't think it would be a good fit simply because he is aging. And in a league like EPL, you have to have young guys. I'm not saying Buffon will not be able to play there. I think it'll be a different kind of game than he's used to. To move kind of a little bit away from EPL, more sad news in my eyes, coming from Barcelona. I know. How do you have sad news about Barcelona? They've won the double this year. Their unbeaten streak has ended. It is
to the last place team,
the
I think.
19th place team at the time. They lost 5-4 against Levante. And this is without, two of their main players. They decided to rest Lionel Messi, as they've already clinched the title. And they decided to, they were forced to leave Sergio Roberto out because of suspension. But that snaps a 43-game unbeaten streak.
That's insane.
So they will not be able to finish off the 2018 season unbeaten. They fell 2 games short.
Well, and just to kind of put that in just a little bit of perspective, Pep Guardiola and Manchester City have 100 points. They have a goal differential of plus 79 and didn't win that many games. Didn't go unbeaten that many games in a row. That just tells you how prolific that statistic is. I mean, that is absolutely unheard of. I mean, that goes to early last season, mid last season, since they lost a match, and so I mean, okay, so they were out without Sergio Roberto, they were without Lionel Messi, but still, I mean, this is FC Barcelona. I mean, this is where some of the world's best players
and they absolutely
have
performed. Like, I'm not saying that they did. If you look, let's see, I believe it was your main man, Philip Coutinho, had a hat trick.
The little magician strikes again.
In the 38th, the 59th, and the 64th minute, and then Luis Suarez scored the 4th as a penalty. I mean, even the app that we both use, FotMob, gives Coutinho the man of the match, with a 9.7 rating.
Sure.
Out of 10. Even though his side lost. Which is good news for Barcelona, impressive. And good news for Coutinho, because that means that he realized, okay, we're down. Someone needs to step up. It's my time to shine. Let's do this. Yeah. And he was, he scored 3 goals in a matter of, in less than 30 minutes. Obviously with halftime in between. But I mean, he literally brought them back. Wow. It was 5-1 in the 56th minute. And he scored in the 59th and then in the 64th, and that brought it to 5-3. And then Luis Suarez scored a penalty. They didn't have enough time to get the 5th one back.
That's insane. That a team like Barcelona can be down 5-1. You don't hear that. That's one of those things. Like, what did you just say? You gotta squint.
I remember
that.
because I get live updates on the score for certain games that I follow, and I remember seeing that, and I was absolutely baffled. I was like, what is happening? Why is
I think my app needs updated. Why?
I mean,
Better question.
and,
Why?
and I look, Lionel Messi's sitting out, and obviously, Messi's a huge part of this team. But you can't just rely on that. And I think Coutinho did the absolute best thing that he could have, to prove himself, to Valverde, basically
Sure.
saying, "Look, all right, you sat Messi. This is my time. I got this."
Right.
And I think he absolutely proved himself there.
Well, and that's really
Mhm.
good news for Barcelona. That's really good news for Felipe Coutinho. It tells me that as much as I hated to see him leave Liverpool, I'm really glad that he's doing well and he's happy and he's enjoying himself. And then the fact that he can do what he did for them the other day is really good news for him and his club. Leo Messi's not going to be around forever. And you're not going to be able to rely on him to win every match for you. So you've got to be able to have guys like Felipe Coutinho who can come off the bench, and eventually I think he's going to get a starting. I
mean, he did
would
start this
rather
game.
he started. Well, sure, because Leo Messi sat, but to see him do that, and it's not so much a surprise to me that he started a match and came up with 3 goals. That's not outside the realm of possibilities for him. It's not something that he's never done before. It's something he's done more than once at Liverpool. He's a really great player. He's very creative, and I'm glad to see that he had that chance to kind of let everybody know I'm still here. I changed clubs and I took kind of a backseat to one of the greatest players in the world. But I'm still here, and I'm still able to do what you guys expect me to do. So, congratulations.
And apparently,
to him for that.
a lot of people know the good relationship between Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. And obviously Neymar left over the summer to join PSG. Apparently, when Coutinho came in, Suarez and Messi basically picked him up, just like they did Neymar, and became best friends. Which is what you absolutely need with your 3 main attackers. You need them to be in sync with each other. And I think give it another season, and those 3 people are going to be deadly.
Absolutely. They're going to be probably more intimidating than the front 3 that Liverpool are playing right now. Not to slight any of those 3, with Mane, Firmino, and Salah, I won't slight them in any way, shape, or form. Of course, I'm biased because I'm a Reds fan, but put them up against the 3 from Barcelona, that's a really exciting attack. I'd really like to see those 2 kind of go head to head, and
Maybe
see
next
what's
season.
what. I think that would be
Champions League.
yeah, could be. Absolutely, that would be an absolutely exciting match to watch. We'll see. But yeah, those 3 up top for Barcelona. To use your
Speaking
word,
of
deadly.
European football, the Europa League final happened in Lyon just the other day, between Atletico Madrid and Marseille. And it wasn't really a contest. It was a 3-0 smashing from Atletico. So Madrid brings home another European title. And what I'm interested to hear about is what that brings about with Antoine Griezmann's career. Because there's a lot of weird things going on around him. Yeah. Apparently Barcelona have offers on the table. And the most recent news story that I've seen is Atletico Madrid looking at Griezmann and saying, "You have no history, or you have no future with Barcelona." Basically telling him moving to Barcelona is going to end your career. Which is kind of a weird way to put it, because basically you're saying that you're not good enough to be able to make it at Barcelona.
Yeah, and that's not how you treat one of your players, especially a guy like Antoine Griezmann, who is one of the players. When you talk about the really good international players, he's one of the guys who's constantly mentioned. And you got people who know the game. I mean, most lay people know, Cristiano Ronaldo. They know Lionel Messi. When you start getting people who actually follow the game, stuff like that, Antoine Griezmann's one of the ones they talk about. So yeah, I mean, just to kind of, it's almost like a jab at him. And I don't understand, the emotion or the logic behind saying something like that about your own player. I don't know.
I guess we're hitting time. I was wondering if you would like to do another segment in Ian's Happy Corner today.
I actually have a couple of things for Ian's Happy Corner.
And now for Ian's Happy Corner.
The first one, apparently there was an Arsenal fan, or I guess an England international fan, named Will Palacios, who tweeted out when he found out that Jack Wilshere was snubbed for the England squad. To put on Twitter, he actually invited Jack Wilshere to go to the Greek islands with him. So when he found out that Jack Wilshere was not going to be busy over the summer with the World Cup, he said, "Hey, come to the Greek islands with me. Me and the lads are going to be there." Jack Wilshere apparently tweeted back, "Give me the dates and I'm in." And then later tweeted, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to be bringing my baby." So now whether it remains to be seen whether he actually takes this guy up on the invitation and shows up to hang out with him and his buddies in the Greek islands. We have yet to see, but still, it's just kind of cool that Jack Wilshere said, "Yeah, sure. I'm not playing. I'll come hang out in the Greek islands with you."
I would.
So I thought that was really cool. And then the second one I've got Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who everybody knows left Arsenal, came to Liverpool, and has really made a name for himself there. There was a fan named Joe Jagger, who as soon as Liverpool booked their spot for the UCL final, he bought plane tickets for himself and his 4-year-old son Bobby. And apparently he put his name in for the lottery to get tickets to the final in Kiev. They had 16,000 tickets set aside for Liverpool supporters. Joe did not win, so he's got plane tickets to Kiev, but he does not have tickets to the match. Apparently Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain heard about this, did whatever wrangling Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain did at Liverpool, and came up with 2 tickets for this guy to go to the UEFA Champions League final in Kiev for Joe Jagger and his 4-year-old son Bobby. And I found out yesterday. I was looking at this article again. I read, reread it, and this is a kid that Ox gave his jersey to after Liverpool beat Manchester City. The little 4-year-old Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain gave his jersey to this little boy, and apparently they have built some kind of a relationship. So I thought that was really cool. Ox is not going to obviously be there. He has had knee surgery, which apparently went really well, and he's going to be sitting till. My understanding is he's sitting till December with this injury. But still very involved with the fans, and he's become a fan favorite at Anfield, and he's really growing on me. When they first signed him, I was like, like I said, at least it wasn't Danny Welbeck. Sorry, Arsenal fans, but anyway. But yeah, Ox is becoming a fan favorite, and something like that is just a really cool expression. Even though he's not going to go, he's like, listen, there's this fan. He wants to go. He's done everything he needed to do. Let's get him there. Good for Jack Wilshere. I hope you have fun in the Greek islands with your new mates. And good for Ox. It's a really good show. That's class. That's class stuff, and we like to see that. So that's Ian's Happy Corner for the last episode of this
Speaking
season.
of which, Ian and I are gonna take a little break. With seasons ending, there's not as much news to really talk about. Um, what we are going to do is we're gonna kick back up, probably right before the World Cup starts. We can talk about what's been going on, get like a recap, and then we'll start getting ready for the World Cup. Basically this is our way to because we want to produce quality videos for you guys, and we don't want to
Right.
be giving out a week of videos where nothing really happened, and we just kind of talk about one topic for 30 minutes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a sabbatical, for just a few weeks, so we can kind of wait for the soccer world to catch up. And so with that, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to season 1 of Inside the Six. When we come back, we will be starting season 2. Make sure you check out our shirt shop in the description, and check out the sticker shop as well. Special thanks to Macrophonic MC, who does our intro outro music. And check out our social media
Thanks,
pages. Those are also in the description. And we will see
Still holding on to Wi-Fi like Obama to a white guy. Temper in the center up when they're filled with some white lies. But that's politics, gets colder than the walrus stick. There's so many multitasking, they multi-taxing in spite of it. But am I go big, finding it, standing aside and timing it. Go ahead and peak my temper, I'll meditate and then write it. Tiny fit my mode.